Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. In this video, I want to apologize for the audio problem. I'm using my shotgun mic again. I misplaced my wireless lapel mic when I was charging it, or after I got done charging it. So yeah, I need to find it. It's somewhere in the house. You may recognize my Windows XP gaming computer here that I built on the channel quite a few months ago. Still has the 8800 GT, still has the Core 2 Quad Q6600, still has the 4GB of RAM, and it still has the Audigy 2 ZS sound card. This thing sounds and runs awesome. I have been playing the crap out of Fallout 3, Oblivion, Crisis with settings set to low, obviously. Even a bunch of other games that I really never got a chance to play, the PC version. But the topic of this video is not specifically this in a direct sense. See, when I built this thing was not like the end-all be-all Windows XP machine. There's a lot more powerful machines. When I originally built this machine, it was parts that I think I probably would have gotten during that time of 2006, 2010, when I originally was wanting to build a computer back in high school, because I was so used to console games. I really wanted to get into computer stuff because my original thing was I wanted to play PC games. But that never came to happen because, well, I had a part-time job when I turned 16, and unfortunately most of my money went to the fact that my first vehicle was a four-wheel drive V8 truck. A very old, by that point, truck. So most of my part-time monies went to gas. I was actually really excited when I could finally afford some of these parts and be able to build it. Now, unfortunately, my handwriting was atrocious back in the day. I couldn't fully read a lot of my notes that I had in that notebook. And to be fair, there's also other notes written around it, so it kind of overlapped a little bit. All I really remember was red motherboard, Q6600, and obviously 4GB of RAM would have been overkill back then. Even 2GB would have been just fine, but you know, I found two matching sticks of 2, so I put 4 in here. That's basically the only reason why there's 4 instead of 2. So it's really not a dream PC or the ultimate PC. It was more of parts I felt like I could have afforded back then. For a refresher, it's a P31 Neo motherboard from MSI, the Q6600, and the 8800 GT. Basically mid-range parts from that time period. I specifically didn't want to mess with SLI because, well, at the time I thought, well, I could probably barely afford 1 graphics card, let alone 2. But there was one part I didn't fully mention. The case I used here was generic black case. That kind of fits the time frame. It's from the time frame of around 2006, 2007. In fact, I had a commenter, and I'll put, I can't remember his name, and I can't remember what he said, but I will fix that. I'll interject it here at some point. He told me the exact model number of this and said it did actually come out in 2007. And the parts I put in here actually were 2007. So it is actually technically a 2007 build, which would have been perfect for what my time frame goal was at the time. Even though the board revision is 2009, the board itself, the P31, was a 2007 board. Back then, I fell in love with a case. And I, for the life of me, could never remember what it was. I literally wrote down in my notebook, I kid you not, blue futuristic case. Yeah, that really narrows it down a little bit, doesn't it? But I remember it very vividly. It had chrome accents, it was blue with a black front, and it kind of had a swoopy kind of front curved, feature on it. And a clear side panel. But I never wrote down the name or the model name of the case. Plus I don't even remember when I saw it. You gotta remember, I started doing this in 2006. It could have been any case from 2000, so an early part. But again, because I'm me with bad handwriting and bad memory, I couldn't remember what it was for the longest time. In fact, a lot of the Facebook groups I'm in, a lot of the retro groups, I kind of scroll through a lot of the cases that people take pictures of the cases, and I kept thinking it's an Alienware, but for some reason that didn't seem right. It didn't look exactly perfect. It was close, but not right. It had that kind of curved front and the clear side panel, but it wasn't exactly the same. However, I built this machine. I knew I was never going to find the case because if I can't remember the name, I can't Google it to eBay it. So this was the case I used, and I've actually been very happy with this case. I don't tear it apart too often, so the weird quirk of having to take the side panel or the top panel off and then pull the side panel up, not that big a deal. Doesn't bother me at all. But the entire reason why I'm making this video is because I found the frickin' case. Like, I tried not to get too excited when I saw it because, well, originally, where I found it, I thought it was going to be destroyed. So I was actually taking a bunch of parts to the scrapyard, and I was actually talking to a buddy of mine. And I decided to walk through and just throw away some of the parts. And over by the bench where they tear computers apart was a bunch of those small, cheap MATX cases from about a decade ago. And I already have a whole bunch of these cases I picked up at some point. So I didn't want any more. I didn't need any more. I just ignored it because as soon as I saw them and all the knockout, all the IO covers were there. So it's like, well, there's no video cards in them. The side panels were off. Looked like they were already being stripped out, so I just kind of ignored it. So when I went down through the parts in the bins, these were junk parts, they weren't good parts. As I was walking up, I glanced back over and kind of off to the side behind this stack of black cases, I saw a silvered side panel with a clear window. And I thought, well, most gaming PC. So I was like, well, my curiosity got the best of me, and I walked over there. And on the ground, covered in actually just a little bit of dust, it actually wasn't too bad. And it wasn't broken, like somebody had just set it there, was the case. Wrong color, but the case. I found the case I wanted back in the day that I remember seeing. This is an NZXT, and the reason why I didn't think that it was NZXT at the time was I thought they were a more modern, part. This is the silver Apollo. Now there actually was a blue Apollo, and I think there was a green one too. But this is the exact case I was looking for. As you can see, it kind of does look like an Alienware, which is why I kept thinking maybe I was thinking of Alienware. But the black front piece here, the chrome slats on the up here, giving that cool, futuristic, somewhat retro look. I found the frickin' case. I'm extremely happy right now. Like, I'm really excited that I finally have the case. There's some parts in here, obviously, that I'm going to tear out to see what they are, but this thing's actually in gorgeous shape. I mean, there's a couple little scuffs on it, but honestly, it's not too bad. So, let's just see what parts are in here. Somebody put the side panel on too tight. Like, I'm trying not to swear, but holy crap. Oh, that one's not that tight. Okay. Yeah. As cool as I'm going to say it right now, as cool as I think this design is, I hate the fact there's a fan on the side panel. But that's actually in really good shape. It needs a little bit of cleaning, but it's not too bad. And it actually still has the NZXT fan. Sleeve bearing, blue LED. Does it even work anymore? Okay, we have a hard drive. SATA cable. Another NZXT 120mm fan that's junk. Okay, so we have a motherboard. It is the P5N-D, revision 1.020. What is that? LJ775. It's an SLI board. It's the 750i chipset. Oh no. Somebody ripped the north and south, the north bridge cooling off of it. Well, that's now junk. And we have a power supply. I don't see how much powerful it is yet, but I also don't see any PCIe connectors. No, it's all SATA and a 4-pin for the motherboard. Well, since that's probably junk, we're just going to take it out. See what the power supply is. And yeah, I know this isn't my usual kind of video. Taking apart computers like this that I find, because usually by the time I find them, they're already kind of torn apart or they're not worth really taking the time to fix. Okay, we have a ew. Well, that's a cheap power supply. It is a Inspire NSP 450 V2. I think I have one of these, and I think it's junk. Yeah, remember correctly, it's junk. So that wouldn't work for what I want to do. SATA cable. Well, that's the HD audio connector, and it wasn't hooked up. That's interesting. There's the front panel stuff on a cool little breakout board. We have 4 SATA, IDE, no flop. Oh yeah, we have floppy. Okay. I'm not too concerned about being careful with this board because with it being that cooler assembly being forcibly removed, it looks like it's probably already junk. And besides, there's no CPU, there's no RAM. Why would you take the CPU and RAM out of this before you take it to the scrapyard? And leave the hard drive. That's a weird thing to me because that almost implies you were wanting to use the parts for something else, which you can't because DDR2 is not really used anymore by like anyone. Okay. And there's the junk board. Yeah, this thing's just been forcibly removed. I don't know why. Are there any bent pins on the thing? Yeah, I see a few. So this board's probably just junk. But yeah, this would have been a nice board. But oh well. So yeah, pretty clean actually. It's got all the bay covers still. Still has all of the quick detach 5 1/4 bay. What's the hard drive? 250 gig Western Digital Blue. Why would you leave the hard drive but oh, cool. Put those rails back in there. Why would you leave the hard drive but take, like you took, there was something hooked up underneath it, so there was another hard drive in here. Why leave one hard drive but take your CPU and RAM? Like, now I gotta go back to the scrapyard and toss this in the bin because I don't like keeping hard drives. I don't. I just don't do that. I didn't even know it was in there. So, anyway, so yeah, I am insanely happy that I finally found this case. I never thought I would. I kind of assumed it'd be one of those things like I'm scrolling across, you know, a Facebook listing or something and come across it, and then I'd be able to know the name, and then I'd be able to eBay it. But holy crap, I found it. Obviously, I'm going to be building a PC in here, but I don't know what I want to build in here. Like, I'm having a lot of fun with my current XP build, but I don't want to transfer all the parts into this. I could build an XP or something machine of parts that I couldn't have afforded back then. Like, I know I couldn't have. Maybe some of the SLI, because I do have a couple twin video cards. I do have another 8800 GTS. I do have two 8800 GTs, I think work. I do have 2 single slot 8800 GTs. I do have an SLI bridge. I could do something with that, but I need to find an SLI board. I don't know if that board's going to work. So, you know, I'll come across something at some point. But yes, I am going to be using this case. It's not going to just be a case down here collecting dust. I am going to be using this case at some point. Yeah, designed by NZXT, copyright 2006. So yeah, this is an early case of theirs that I would love to get to work in. It says Intel Pentium. That's kind of, who would put a Pentium in a case that's gorgeous? Anyway, so yeah, but again, I am actually extremely happy for this, that I found this. So, with that being said, thank you everyone for watching this video. Yeah, they're not my normal video. In any means. I kind of want to do more videos like this where I tear apart PCs that I find to kind of see what kind of neat hardware and kind of what kind of neat story could be told or was told with it. But yeah, with that being said, thank you everyone for watching this video. You're going to be seeing this thing in the future at some point when I find all the parts I want to do. Definitely SLI, definitely parts I couldn't have afforded back then. And then run it side by side with this one and see, you know, what if money was no object back then for me. What could I have built? Thank you everyone for watching. Put down in the comments what parts you kind of want to see me put in here, because maybe I do have 2 other cases, vintage cases with side panels. One's a illuminator, an Antec illuminator, I think is what it is, a big aluminum chassis. It's like this freaking tall. And then another smaller MATX one that has a clear side panel. If you want to see me build anything with a side panel, that kind of stuff, put down in the comments and hit the like button if you liked it. Subscribe to the channel. Every subscriber helps the channel grow, because I am going to be doing a milestone video here. Once I hit the milestone of 486 subscribers, I'm going to be building a 486 DOS gaming PC, which is probably going to be one of my longer videos on the channel, definitely pushing an hour, because I don't want to do too many jump cuts and that kind of stuff with it. So yeah, that being said, thank you everyone for watching the video. Following along with this weird video. This is more of just a dream part for me, so that's kind of why I made the video. And yeah, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.